Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 27 male, took a loan from my dad, 63 male, about 7 years ago for my college studies. He had offered the option when I told him I was going to take some time off before going to college to get the money. He also told me that my older brother, 30, had taken the same deal, and it worked out great for him. I figured that it would help me a lot to stay on track with my goal to become an engineer. He gave me the loan at a rate slightly higher than what other banks or financial institutions would offer. I didn't know that at the time though. He also told me that I had more time to pay it back since he wasn't going to be breathing down my neck over it, and I could start paying back whenever I started working. Having all the money at once would certainly save me from diverting my attention from my studies, so I agreed and took the loan. I finished my school in good time and landed a good job. So I approached my dad about the repayment. I tried to renegotiate the terms, since I found out that I would be paying more than I would have with the bank. I also learned that my older brother had gotten his loan with more favorable terms that my dad didn't extend to me. When I brought all that up, my dad didn't budge. He said I had agreed to whatever I had agreed to, and it was my fault for not doing my due diligence ahead of time. Then, he insisted on getting his money paid in full within 2 years. He clearly forgot that he said he wouldn't box me in. Anyway, I tried to talk to Mom about it because I thought she didn't know what was going on, and it would help to have someone else see the absurdity of the deal. She sided with my dad and told me there was no way to change my dad's mind. Rather than drag this out, she told me to just pay it off since I was earning some good money. I made drastic changes to my lifestyle to pay it up though. I got a small apartment with roommates, forfeited buying a car, and all those other things my colleagues were getting too. Luckily enough, I paid it up within his time frame and let it go. It definitely strained some things in our relationship, but at least I got to move on and didn't have it hanging over my head. Despite that repayment setback, I was able to work my ass off for a promotion and make some sound investments to put me in a comfortable financial position. Now, I'm planning a wedding and haven't asked my parents for help. I figured that they might come up with tighter strings tied to their money. So I've been moving things forward on my own, and while they know that I'm planning a wedding, they also haven't offered to do anything. The most insane bit of this is that my dad recently came over and told me he wanted to buy property as part of his retirement plan. Someone had approached him with a deal too good for him to pass up on, but he didn't have that money ready. So he asked me for help since I'm doing better than my brother on that front. I guess he simply expected me to give him the money because he lost it when I told him that I could give him a loan. I even cited a higher interest rate than the bank or what he gave me. He was pissed. He said that I couldn't do that to family. Apparently, families should be able to rely on each other with no strings attached, and that it amounted to extortion. I pointed out that he did the same thing to me and my interest rate was only slightly higher than what he had asked of me. He didn't want to hear that. Instead, he started telling me how he had looked after me since I was a child, and he had never asked for anything in return. I told him that those were his responsibilities as a parent, and he shouldn't have been expecting anything in return. Then he went on to say that I was enjoying a comfortable position because of him. If he hadn't given me the loan when he had, I wouldn't be where I am. He also added that he had been just teaching me responsibility all along. I agreed that he helped with my studies, but I told him that I had worked hard for my promotion and been wise with my investments. He couldn't take that away from me. I also added that I was planning a wedding, something he should have remembered, and needed all the money anyway. My dad scoffed it off and said I could do a simple court wedding and save the rest. I told him that it was my money and I could do what I pleased with it. He wasn't on board with that thought and stormed out. Now, my dad is threatening to disown me. My mom has been calling since then, telling me to reconsider. Am I the a-hole? Sometimes what goes around comes around. Update. I feel comforted by most of the messages I've read on this platform. My father didn't want a taste of his own medicine, and I think I'm fine with it. He didn't take the loan, and I haven't heard from him since he stormed out. My mom is now acting as the go-between. I found out that someone else bought the property from under them before they had the chance to get all the money together. This added salt to the wound my father was already nursing. I don't expect that we will be friendly with each other anytime soon. I'm also not sure if they will show up for my wedding since my father sees it as a waste of money in the first place. I sent them the invitations all the same. I hope he eventually realizes that he needs to treat family better than he has. OP, I don't think you're at fault here. Just because you make better money and you're doing fine financially doesn't mean you should be your parents' ATM. Your dad isn't entitled to any of your money. Yes, he helped raise you, but those are the things he should do selflessly as a parent in the first place. You shouldn't be expected to put your life on hold just to please them. Your wedding comes first. Hopefully, he realizes that you don't owe him anything since you've paid up the loan and he comes to your wedding. Story 2. I'm 27 male and my sister is 26. For the most part, I would say we get along pretty well and haven't had a fight since we were like 20 and 19. I let my sister and her boyfriend stay at my place for the time being because they are new to the city, and since I lived there, I decided to be a good brother and give them a place to stay. They paid rent, but I made sure it was pretty cheap because I wanted to do them a favor. They pretty much do their own thing and I don't see them much, but about once or twice a week, we all sit down and watch a TV show or movie together. I live with my girlfriend, so I'm not the third wheel, lol. But on a commercial, it was talking about the gym or something, and my sister got all miffed that they were saying stuff like being fat is bad. A bit of backstory, she isn't fat by any means. Her fiancé is a little chubby, but I would say he's more stocky than actually chubby. I'm a bit stocky too, from what people have told me. When we were teens, she was pretty mean to me about being fat. I'll admit back then I was pretty fat, but after high school, I wanted to lose weight and get in shape, and my sister was my biggest supporter. But recently she's really into that body positivity, and I think her boyfriend is into that too. I really thought he knew about her teasing me because of my weight as a kid. I hold no grudge over what she said to me as a teen because I know she regrets it now and we're good. But when she said that, I kinda smirked and jokingly said something like, "Why couldn't you be so body positive when I was fat? You hated me as kids because of that." I started laughing, hoping that she would join in, but I got nothing but a glare from her, and her boyfriend looking pretty shocked at what he heard. He then got up and left the scene. My sister called me a dumbass and went with him. I didn't think anything of it. I heard some screaming and arguing coming from their room, but I had the couch with my girlfriend, so I just blocked that out. The next day, they are super tense around each other, and I feel kinda bad. My sister is kinda pissed at me and said I should have just kept my mouth shut, while her boyfriend is saying I did the right thing by saying that. I do feel bad that I caused the fight, but I think both of them are being very overdramatic about this. Am I the a-hole for telling a joke that caused a big fight between my sister and her boyfriend? No a-holes here, though I think your sister may have painted a very different picture of her personality to her boyfriend, even how she was as a kid. But if her boyfriend can't accept that she might have had bad habits, or not been very kind in her stupid teenage years and have grown up, or changed their tune by her 20s, then this relationship probably wouldn't work. I think to make it up to your sister, you should tell her boyfriend she has changed, and she was super supportive when you were losing weight. Your sister's past shouldn't define her, especially since she's much better now. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. You didn't know the effects your statement would have. Sounds like she lied to him about something. This is on her, not you. There is no way you could have known. If you did it maliciously, then you would be the a-hole. Perhaps a conversation should be had between you and the boyfriend. Dropping a bomb like that without the other side is harsh. Tell him how supportive and helpful she was when you lost the weight and what that meant to you. Not the a-hole. You didn't make up a story or try to make her look bad. A normal person would have laughed with you at your joke. They are being overdramatic, her boyfriend especially. Of course, she said dumb shit as a teenager. That's basically all teenagers do. To hold that against her now is ridiculous. I'm assuming she has changed, and is a good person now. To be angry at her over this when you yourself have moved past it and forgiven her, yeah man, what the F? This is more on him than her. No a-holes here. You obviously are over the stuff that happened as a kid, and it sounds like you thought your sister was as well. However, it is still a sore spot for her, it seems. It really isn't your problem. The problem is between them two. Her boyfriend is right to be concerned about her views to see if they are compatible. If say, the best thing to do is apologize, saying you didn't realize she felt so bad about it still, and say you hold no grudge for the past.